All right, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Call Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. This is a update dealing with the MOTB, and I'm going to just read it so I don't get flagged or anything. So I'm going to just read the article. It says, Elon Musk Neuralink brain computer startup is beat again. This time, a competitor implanted its device into its first U.S. patient. It's talking about into the brain now. All right, so they didn't. I'm gonna just read. You know, YouTube, man. Jeez, algorithms. It says, Elon Musk Neuralink brain computing startup has yet to receive approval from the Federal Drug Administration, the FDA, to implant its technology in humans. However, Neuralink's competitor, Synchron, has implanted its first device into the brain of a U.S. patient. In this case, one with ALS, a neurodegenerative disease that's affected the patient's ability to move and speak, as reported by Bloomberg. But we know Esau's agenda is more broad than that. All right, they're making a general statement, but it's more broad. They're trying to make it seem more specific, but it's more broad than that. All right. This system, what can you say? This device that they're using, Neuralink, is going to be able to do more things than just help with connection from the brain to the limbs of the body. It's going to be able to buy and sell, all right, control someone with it, control items that they're setting up for their new world order as far as the Internet of Things, making everything electronic. All right, so so now it says, and it's funny because in order for them to really complete this, they're going to need what it would be called, micro messaging system, such as Twitter, to be able to control messages going back and forth with 5G. It says the hope is that the patient will be able to browse the web and communicate through email and text just by thinking. Look at that, Internet of Things. And they've done it. The device would translate the patient's thoughts into action through commands sent to the computer. Synchron has already implanted its devices in 4 patients in Australia. These patients are reported by Bloomberg to have no side effects, and the device has allowed them to send messages through WhatsApp and make online purchases. All right, so they can make online purchases with it, man. Okay, there you go. So all they got to do is set up the system to say, hey, you can't buy or sell without it. Synchron had received FDA approval in July 2021 to begin a human trial of its stentrode device to insert into the brains of 6 patients. Sheesh, the stentrode can be inserted into the brain without cutting through the patient's skull or damaging their tissue. A doctor makes an incision in the patient's neck. From there, the stentrode, with the help of a catheter, is placed into a blood vessel within the motor cortex, an area involved in the planning, control, and execution of voluntary movements. So this device gonna be able to control their body. All right. Once the device is implanted, a second procedure connects it to a computing device. Oh, man, implanted in the patient's chest, turn them into cyborgs. The stenstrode reads the signal produced by neurons firing in the brain, and then it sends the signals to the computing device, which sends it to a computer or phone through Bluetooth. Look at that, man. It says, meanwhile, Neuralink is working to develop a surgical robot to implant its small disc-shaped device into a patient's brain. The device would then process and filter signals on the embedded computer chips. Man. So yeah, man. I might read this little bit right here. And although its human trials in the U.S. is a first for Synchron's device, it's not a first in the field. The Utah Array, a microelectrode array technology that is a small silicone square with 100 needles that are pushed into the brain when implanted, has been the standard for relaying electrical signals from a brain to a computer since its development in 1992 by researchers at the University of Utah. Until last year, it was the only FDA-approved BCI, or the brain-computer interface. See? The BCI. All right? And it has shown significant results, like allowing paraplegics to control robotic arms. So I ain't gonna read no more, but you kind of see what they're up to. All right. Neuralink is working super hard to ensure implant safety and is in close communication with the FDA. Musk tweeted in February 2021, if things go well, we might be able to do initial human trials later this year. So this that time, man, where they really pushing to to try to bring their agenda to pass. All right, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. All right, so the ones that are in the truth, the ones that are in the know, we're not ignorant of the adversary's devices. You see that? Everything they're conjuring up through their innovators that they can imagine up based around this whole new digital technology that they're trying to merge with humans, BCI. Right? So we're not ignorant of it, but you have some idiots out there that still don't believe that this is their agenda. And that Revelation 13:16 is talking about the MOTB and that they can buy or sell. They said a few in Australia already got it, and they can buy and sell on the WhatsApp, and they can just think about it and do it. It's deep, right? Which is Revelation 14 and 6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear Yahweh and give glory to him. It's talking to the Israelites, where we're scattered. For the hour of his judgment is come. And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of the waters, man. So the hour of the Lord's judgment is real close. This is it. It's the times that we're in. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, it's fallen. See, while this place is falling in the midst of recession, America's in a lagging state as far as the economy, losing all of its trade agreements and allies, losing the power in the earth. So within that, that's when you're going to get Revelation 13 and 16. And that's what they're leading up to. All right, they're getting all the innovators to come up with different ways, while people like Bill Gates bring all the corporations together, and Klaus Schwab bring all the nations together. And this guy here, forgot his name, man, Elon Musk, people like him, and Synchron, they doing the innovation on different ways to use their technology. You know what I mean? So now it says what? Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. You know, they all under idol worship and did wicked deals with America. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, see, you submit to this system, and his image, his system, right? The beast meaning NATO, basically Esau, the European Union, and America all together. If any man worship what they set up and receive his mark in their forehead or in his hand, all right, so in any of the hands or in their forehead, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. That means when Yahushua shows up, whoever has that MOTB device anywhere in their body, they're gonna be destroyed. All right, because once they do that, they're literally deemed as no longer human. They're owned by the corporation that they submitted to, giving up their rights as a human, giving up their rights as an Israelite to salvation, ultimately set up for destruction. 1 Corinthians 14 and 8, 7. And even things without life giving sound, whether pipe or harp, right? Except they give a distinction in the sounds. How shall it be known what is piped or harp, man? You got people trying to tell us to be Muslim, tell us to follow Christianity. We're all the same and all this madness, right? You got a lot of jakes calling themselves Israelites, but they don't have the breath. They don't have the truth, the spirit of truth, man. They're not warning the people with the spirit of prophecy, telling them in detail about the prophecies. So instead, it says what? How shall it be known what is piped or harp unless they give a distinction? Be clear on it. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? All right. So a lot of the jakes that call themselves Israelites, they're not giving the true sound that the Lord is sending off, the sound of warning, the sound of alarm. All right, the sound of war, the sound of Esau rushing in as a flood, and what they're going to do in detail, martial law, moving to this digital system, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, so this is what we hold on to, Job 5 and 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, man. So they're gonna be disappointed. So that their hands, so their power, whatever they have on the left hand side, cannot perform their enterprise, man. It's not gonna be able to be completed. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. All right, so basically, right, because this is Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, man. Every hand of the wicked shall be upon him, man, especially over here in America. All the hands of these nations are going to be up against America, all right, and especially the beast system with Europe and the NATO countries. All right, all the other heathen nations are going to be against them. You see that? All right, so in the fullness of his sufficiency, which would mean, it says, satiety. It says hand clapping, mocking, mockery, scorn, meaning dubious. All right, as like a satire, I guess, a satiety. All right, it'd be kakwak, which now it says in mocking. That's what Esau doing, mocking the Lord, mocking his people. So when they begin to celebrate, when they think they got their new world order completed with the MOTB and the whole system and depopulation and bringing in their satanic order upon the earth and government, doing away with the Constitution, then that's when Yahweh Shai going to destroy them. Not because of the Constitution, but because it's the judgment that's coming upon this place. All right? And the Lord's prophecies will be complete. In the fullness of his sufficiency, when they're mocking, when they fully feel like they've done it, those elites, he shall be in straits, man, and that's when the Lord going to get them. All right, to press, be narrow, be in distress. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, all right, putting people into martial law, locking everything down. You see President Biden is talking about pushing some bill dealing with global warming, which will actually be the ultimate lockdown of America. All right, and then you got the war that they're causing over there in Ukraine, which is hiking up oil prices. So as they're pushing their innovations dealing with the MOTB, trying to make it like it's everywhere, the Lord's going to bring them down once they make it mandatory, all right, without making it mandatory. You get what I'm saying? Make it more of a exception, or people going to receive it, but it's going to be a mandatory reception. It's going to be mandatory that they receive it, as we just experienced recently. All right, and a lot of us stood our ground. People like Tazariak of the ISUPK, we know to have fallen to the system, going down to Egypt for help, and a lot of IUIC members, etc., because they're being led astray. They're not giving off the proper vibration, the proper sound. It says, when he is about to fill his belly with power, that's what they're after. You know, what else can a rich man have? They want power. That greed. Yahweh, they enlarge their desires as hell, man. Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Okay? while they are consuming the people. All right. And that's just it. So anybody that follows after Elon Musk, they're gonna be destroyed. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.